What are some reasons we don't sleep enough? Let's talk about how hard it can be to sleep. I think part of the reason we don't sleep is that we take sleep for granted. We all know sleep is a biological function. We need sleep to grow our bodies and give our brains an opportunity to incorporate and sort out all the experiences we've had during the day. But if it's so important, then why is it so hard to fall asleep? Here are some questions to get your brains thinking. If you've ever had a hard time sleeping, have you thought about why? And have you ever thought about needing to practice sleep to get better at it? Well, getting better at sleep is a big part of this video. First, let's get back into some not so basic biology. Who has heard of the sleep flip-flop switch? The sleep flip-flop switch is a model that sleep researchers working in various fields such as neurobiology, psychology, and even mathematics are using to understand sleep. To understand the flip-flop switch, think about what sleep is. You know when you are awake, and then all of a sudden you are not awake. Have you ever thought about how there really is no in-between? Basically, our consciousness is like a light switch. Your consciousness is either on and you are awake or off and you are sleeping. An incredible, complex interaction of hormones is what controls that off event. Next, I want to introduce the idea of sleep pressure. Sleep pressure is that building sensation that forces the flip-flop switch to off. Remember, there is an ever-growing body of research studying all the hormones and mechanisms involved. We'll talk about one. One of the biggest influencers is melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that helps control your sleep-wake cycle. Normally, as the sun sets, melatonin levels begin to rise, and then they remain high for most of the night. Then melatonin levels drop in the early mornings when you wake up. And what controls melatonin? The pineal gland deep within the brain is triggered by darkness to release melatonin. Darkness is when melatonin is released. When light hits your eyes and travels down the retina, the pineal gland's ability to produce melatonin is blocked, directly disrupting the natural sleep cycle. Now let's circle back to the flip-flop switch. In healthy sleep, the flip-flop switch is in homeostasis. It goes from on to off and back in a way that is not stressful to our brains and bodies. But sometimes, the flip-flop switch gets pushed much stronger in one direction than another. For example, when we drink caffeine or when light hits our retinas preventing that melatonin release, or if we're really stressed out. That switch gets cranked on and it's way harder to get over to the sleep side. When that happens, we have to rely on sleep regulation to get it pushed back. So what I'm saying is we can think of sleep like a skill. With technology, modern life, and all the things going on around us, it's never been more important to practice basic sleep health. Times are different now. We have to start thinking critically about how we can be healthy in the world around us. And now that we have all that information, we can talk about sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene is how we change the way we do things and the space around us to help us sleep. Really, sleep hygiene is about being able to critically analyze our space to maximize our sleeping potential. The first component is the environment. Be mindful of your space. Where do you sleep? And is it the way you like it? Are you feeling too hot or too cold? How's the light? Have you minimized light access to your pineal gland? Everyone is different and will like a different sleeping environment. So really consider what your space is like and where you're sleeping. Next is scheduling. Think about what time you need to go to bed and what time you need to wake up. Oh, okay, first we need to backtrack a moment. How much sleep do we need? According to the Public Health Agency of Canada, 5 to 13-year-olds need 9 to 11 hours of sleep per night. How do they come up with that number? Well, sleep research. Years of data and study come together and allow us to use evidence-informed practice to suggest the best amount of sleep for different age groups. Let's use that information to help us be the healthiest we can be. Okay, now you've figured out when you need to go to bed for those 9 hours. How you're going to let your body know when you need to sleep is part of building a sleep routine. What are you doing to influence that flip-flop switch? When would be a good time to turn off that phone? When would be a good time to lower the lights? And when is a good time to have a shower? Do you need a shower? All of those factors are things to think about. Next, we have healthy body practices. At the end of the day, if you aren't tired, it might be because you didn't get enough exercise. Again, relying on evidence and sleep research, 12 to 17-year-olds are suggested to have at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity a day. Exercise might be a good way to recalibrate that flip-flop switch if you're having trouble sleeping. Wow, that was a lot of information. And that's the end of this video. Let's sleep on it and hope that our brains can sort some of this out.